Hey, welcome to another show, another Mortgage Madness show. If you're tuning in, you certainly need to get back on your prescriptions because you shouldn't be. You obviously have something wrong with you if you're tuning in. I know my mom would be, God rest her soul. She would be watching. We used to joke about that with the radio show I used to do, that the only listener we really have were our moms. So I did that with my partner. That show was also called Mortgage Madness. It was Mortgage Madness radio program that I did back in the 90s. Tell a couple stories about that. It's going to pop up. There it is. And that was me in tights back when my hair was reddish. Yeah, I had red hair. I was more red than I am white now. But that show was done. And the impetus to do the show is based on a story where I had an office down at the bottom of a high rise, and there was a hallway with a glass a window all along. We did a couch there, and a woman came running in crying and threw herself on the couch in my office. And I was, whoa, what's going on? And she spoke like 99% Spanish. I spoke 1% Spanish. So we couldn't communicate very well. But through translation, it turns out she was trying to close a loan, and the real estate agent and the lender were related, brother and sister, and they were telling her she needed to come in with an extra $5,000 at the very end. This was back in the day when we didn't have all the regulations and requirements that we have now where you can't do that. So they changed it on her. She didn't have it, and she was distraught. And she was just saw a mortgage on my window, and she came running and threw herself down looking for help. And we couldn't help. I called the loan officer. The loan officer was a real jerk, and he wouldn't talk to me. We couldn't do anything to help her. And it was what spurred the idea that there had to be a better way to get information out to help consumers. So it started the Mortgage Madness first run on the radio show that was a consumer advocacy based. There it is again, consumer advocacy based show. For those that can't see it, that are listening on Spotify or any of our podcasts, you can hear us anywhere there that you can find any major podcast. You'll find Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. But it's a picture of us and in the radio show. And that was to help people overcome and find better ways to get financing and overcome those who were predatory, taking advantage of them. My story is one of woe in many ways. And it's also one of great successes where we've been able to overcome and help people fight against the institutions, even like the very one I work for at Loan Depot. So this is Mike Hobbs. You're listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. I'm a home loan officer with Loan Depot. And Loan Depot has been around for many, many, many years, a decade plus. It's the second largest mortgage non-bank, I would call it, mortgage banker in the country. We do some pretty amazing things. We're going to talk about some of those things in a little bit when we talk about programs. And, the color is kind of bright. When you come into our office, man, it is purple and green. So if you can't, those who can't see it, we've got the purple and green logo up. And if you watch the World Series or the championship series, ALCS and NLCS, you saw that we were on the mound, Loan Depot was, and we were also behind the bat, behind home plate. So big sponsor, MLB. But the way they picked their colors was from the 1960s. And it's pretty crazy because I'm convinced that they got their colors from the 1960s. Yeah. Now, people can't see that, but you can see that that's Lost in Space from the 60s. And there's, Danger Will Robinson with the robot flipping his arms back and forth. And you can look at those colors, flip that back up. Let's take a look at the Home Depot. There it is. See? Colors match. So that's where they got their color wheel and their color palette. And that's where our bright colors come from. If you ever come into my office here in Coeur d'Alene, broadcasting out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, up in the Panhandle here. And, if you ever come to the show or come to my office, you're going to see that those colors are there. Okay, that's enough of those colors. They keep flashing back and forth on me here. I'm gonna get sick. It's going to trigger me in a minute here. So thank you very much. But I'm a home loan officer, NMLS 1804310, and I've been a loan officer and other things, everything in real estate, mortgage, legal for 38 years. Owned an escrow company, a couple of real estate companies, law firm that I started. I was a general manager for. I was all real estate based, and one of the largest mortgage companies in the country at one time. And in my final years, whatever that is, another year, I'll probably be alive another year, I think, or longer, that I want to spend it here at Loan Depot. I think they offer some amazing things to our customers and to our clients, our referral partners, our real estate agents as well, help them grow their business. And it's great. So, also, another show I did was Rebel Realtors Radio, where we are also advocates in helping people sell their home differently. So we actually figured out a way through Rebel Realtors Radio and a company that I had to be able to, we're going to see Rebel Realtors Radio here in just a second. I want to show that if you wouldn't mind. And that was to do, we believe that the time had come to completely rearrange your expectations of how real estate was done. And so we created a modality that nobody has ever done in the country. Yeah, it sounds a little audacious, I get it, but if anybody knows me, I'm just very confident because I work for the consumer. My whys are in the benefits I provide to the consumer. That's why I do this and have for so long. I love it. And that show was done to talk about how we could do things differently and provide real value to a seller and a buyer. So it was based on making selling more profitable and buying less terrifying. So in that way, we were able to do it. In fact, I'm doing that right now with a client in California as just a consultant. Still licensed in California, but I'm not practicing as a real estate agent. But I do consulting work from time to time, and I'm actually helping a for-sale by owner sell their home. And they are using the what was known as the Powerhouse package to be able to do something very special. So they're going live with this on Friday. We'll see how it goes. And we've done some really amazing things so far in the last week of getting them prepared to be able to see how this is going to affect the buyers in wanting to buy this special home. So it's really cool. And they tracked me down. One of the things, I wrote a book on 5 things every realtor needs to stand out, be memorable. And if you're listening, you're a real estate agent, or you're watching, you can see my stats running on the bottom there, scrolling past my phone number and also my website. You can certainly email me, find it there on the website, MikeHobbs1.com, or you can call me at 208-643-2865. 208-643-2865. And you can ask me for a copy of that book if you're a referral potential partner or referral partner and you want that. It'll get your juices flowing creatively on how you can stand out, be different in this marketplace or any marketplace. And so I provide those benefits back. So I'm passionate about, the why is helping people grow their businesses. It's not about me. It's about you. The show here today is about stories today on success stories in buying homes. And so success stories in homeownership, really, and more. We're going to talk about some funny things at the end too. So that's who I am. And my why is really, as I said, getting the results from the emotional results, the emotional, tangible benefit results of providing things to my clients. Yeah, we do loans and everybody does loans. And unfortunately, in some cases, we're reduced to a commodity. I was, unfortunately, this last week by somebody. But at the end of the day, we really shouldn't be, and we're really not. And so I think there's got to be value. So I provide benefits that all home loan officers should, but do not. And it's manifest in my tracking down and looking for guidelines and little cracks in guidelines where we can do things others can't. Also, by being here and structuring the way I'm paid also provides a benefit to the consumer because I'm lower priced. And so I can. And we can also go in and negotiate those prices too. So we're extremely competitive, and it's our size at Loan Depot. It's one of the things I love about working for Loan Depot. But I'm passionate about providing those benefits, and they're manifest in overcoming or finding solutions, I should say, overcoming problems, but finding solutions. Pardon me, I got a little something in my throat here. It's making me cough. Anyway, I'm going to take a sip real quick. 1 second. I'm drinking a Coke. Oh my gosh, is that a Coke? And I'm diabetic. What the heck is going on? Who gave me the Coke? Anyway, I won't die today. That's not going to happen, but I shouldn't be drinking the Coke, but it looks really good and it's tasty. So one of the things that, again, I'm passionate about, main thing is giving back to the consumer and seeing that thing that happens when we solve a problem that they can't solve through anyone else in the industry. And that's just time in the seat. And so I really dig and dig and dig. So here's a story. So stories in homeownership and more. Chris, VA, veteran, lover veterans, and thank you. We celebrated a weekend with Veterans Day, and that was great. So my father was a veteran. My brother-in-law is a veteran. My father was a veteran. God rest his soul. And we thank all our servicemen and women for their sacrifice. And so he's a veteran. He's buying VA loans. We do those. Been doing those for a long time. Love VA loans. But he came to me after going to 2 other lenders that couldn't get him into the home he wanted. They were struggling to get him qualified. He has a particular problem with this. He's got, a FICO score that's lower than most. It's, it's in the 500s. And so most lenders will shy away. One of the previous lenders that I worked for here recently goes 620. If you're below a 620, you're out. You can't do any loan through them. And so you have to pick and choose your lenders. Not all lenders are the same. And it isn't always about pricing. It's about getting the job done. And certainly in this marketplace with high interest rates, if you will, I started doing them when they were in the 13 and a half. So this isn't really high, but again, it has no perspective or bearing on reality with affordability, because back then homes cost $50,000, $150,000. And so 13, 14, 15, and even 18% was kind of like a 5% today or 4%. So I really can't say they're not high. They are high, but they were having trouble getting qualified. And most lenders, again, won't do anything under 620. So because of who we are and the size and what have you, size of our company, we will go under that. And so his 580 something FICO score was prohibiting him on 100% financing and getting qualified. And so two other lenders had it and were not being able to get through it. He told me when I got him approved, he said, I'm going to give you a big, fat, wet kiss to TMI, right? TMI. But that's what he said. And I'm not judging. But at the end of the day, I'm not taking him up on that. So if you're out there listening, Chris, sorry, man, I'm not your type. It's not going to happen. But it does strike an emotional chord with me, because you know what? That's a huge thank you. And that's why I do this, because we can overcome problems that, in this case, a veteran had in trying to be a homeowner. We solved it. So he's got a pool in his home. He's got other things going on. And you know what? He's just elated. His wife, I met his wife. She's elated. That's why I do it. It's just amazing to have that outcome and be involved in it. So again, I'm going to give the call signs out. You're listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. I'm Mike Hobbs. I'm a home loan officer with Loan Depot. There it is. Wow. And I've been doing this 38 years on and off in various forms and shapes of the industry, from legal to mortgage to real estate. And I also do consumer advocacy work. So if you have a question, you just want to talk, give me a call. You can talk to me. My numbers and everything are running down below. MikeHobbs1.com is my main website. You can find me at itsmortgagemadness.com as well. Track me down that way, or my phone number. You've got that too going across the screen. And you can see me on Facebook and Spotify. You can find me there, listen to me there on Spotify. Track me down that way, 208-643-2865. Anywhere in the country, I can actually provide some guidance and things. I can't lend in all states. I'm in 3 states, California, Washington, and Idaho. So that's where I'm currently lending. I love being able to solve those problems. So another story, let's talk about another story. Cindy. So 3 lenders, she came to me through one of my great referral partners, Greg, and she was employed by a cannabis company, marijuana, Mary Jane. She was working for a cannabis company, and she had been to 2 of them. It was an FHA loan. So it was a HUD loan. It was a government insured loan. And these lenders were telling her to 3, was it 3? Yeah, 3 different lenders were telling her that FHA would not lend, HUD would not lend to someone in the marijuana industry. And I did some research, dug into guidelines. That's not true. That may have been an overlay that it was occurring with those 3 lenders. That's an awful lot though, but it was an overlay. It's not reality. So again, the interest rate, those things, they've got to be reasonable, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't be always about the rate or the cost, what have you. We're extremely and most of the time lower than most, but at the end of the day, it's really about who can get the job done. Do you want to own the home? And marry the home. Don't marry the rate, because the rate you can get rid of. Get your house and marry the house. Stay in love with it. Stay with it for a long time. But don't worry about the rate. They're going to change, and we are going to see them come down, I predict, next year. And so when those come back down, anybody that got into higher interest rates, or, I'm going to say higher because higher than what they're used to over this great last 2.5, 3 years, you're going to see lower interest rates. You can refinance out and move on. And we have some really cool things for people that are current customers and refinancing out later, and a lifetime guarantee thing that we do. We'll talk about that in another show that we're bringing back that'll help you avoid costs if you have to refinance through us in the future with these higher rates. So again, rent your rate, marry your house, go ahead and don't let that slow you down. So we were able to do it. So I researched guidelines for HUD and cannabis and what have you. And there were some footnotes, I would say, that were coincided with that belief, but it wasn't accurate in the way they were depicting it and or the way they were using it to determine the qualification and the candidacy for this buyer, for Cindy, in being able to get it. So I was able to solve that. And Cindy was just elated. I mean, she has kids and she had a couple dogs, and she was elated she was going to own this home. Her mom and dad came in and met with me, and they were thanking me up and down. It's just one of those moments where you love it. It's the why I do this. It's the why. And another why too really is I've got my lovely wife of 36 years last month, and I love Caroline, and Caroline's been, through me. I was telling her I appreciate all that she does for me this morning when I was getting ready to run out the door for work, and I really do. And our daughter lives with us, Abby, and I love Abby, and I love Ashton and her son, who's 14 months, could be 15 months, coming up here in another week or so. Yeah, about a week. And just a joy. So I love coming home. I love hanging out with family, and I love, being where I'm at right now in life. And my other son, Mitch, is a CPA in California. And lastly, my older son lives with us, and he's got the master bedroom. How the heck did that happen? I know Caroline's out there listening. How did that happen, Caroline? How did we give up the master bedroom on top of the house? Oh yeah, we're parents. Yeah, big question. I don't know why. That's funny. Question marks just popped up on my screen. I have no idea. That's a good question. So we'll have to find out. We got stuck somewhere else in the house. We're down in the basement. Let's put it that way. That's what parents do for the kids when they love them. So anyway, but Nick, love Nick, and he's awesome. So he works out at Hagedon Marine. Anyway, that's a little bit about me. So let's go back to homeownership stories about homeownership and how we solve problems. So another one is Joan. Joan came to me through an agent she was 30 days into an escrow where she had been pre-approved by this loan officer, this mortgage company. And she was 30 days in. She came to me via the agent who was pulling his hair out because obviously at 30 days in, you're almost done with the escrow. You should be closing. I mean, sellers are moving. People have their bags packed. Things are going on. Life is moving along. People have made plans. And when you come in as a loan officer and you say, oh, at 30 days, whoops, I can't qualify you, it's catastrophic. I mean, you affect a lot of people's lives, not just the buyer who's like, on what, the agent whose commission's at jeopardy, and the sellers who now may not be able to move. And if they're buying a house, they can't buy that house, and other people connected to that. So it's just a chain of events. It was horrible. So 30 days in, can't do it. They're supposed to close in 2 weeks. They were doing that because they said that they didn't find on the credit report that some student loans had gone into delinquency, and it was a pretty large size, $30,000 worth of student loans. And they've been there for a while, but they say they missed it. When I ran my credit report, it popped right up. So I don't believe that. Number one. Number two, she did have a clean KVRs, which is a checking system for federal debt, since she didn't have any federal debts that popped up. So they wouldn't have found it there. But I think that they just overlooked it. They thought it was because they were in collection, and they didn't have to do anything with it, because there are some forgiveness situations for collections and or charge-offs with government loans. They're a lot more lenient, but in the student loan arena, they're not. So this loan officer just blew it. The underwriter may have blown it as well. And they were asking her to get a hold of the student loan outfit to get into a payment plan so they could count that payment plan against her. That would have taken at least 2 months to get done. You know how that is, right? Calling up student loans and trying to figure out, hey, get me back, reinstate me on some 3 collection accounts on student loans. It's not going to happen. And again, we're 30 days in, we got to close in 2 weeks. So I took it on, and the guideline says very clearly, I don't have to do that. I can assign a value to that debt, even though it's in collection. Doesn't matter. Doesn't affect her. She qualifies, but I can assign a value to it, count that value, monthly debt, against her, and then qualify her. And it required some getting creative and doing some things that with some other debt, we had to move some things around, but nothing that was outside her wheelhouse or her ability. And we did that, and we put it together, and I closed it in 2 weeks. I got the appraisal signed over, got that, so we didn't have to do an appraisal, and rock and roll, because Loan Depot is extremely fast. So that's what we are. We are fast and easy, and it makes it really a great thing for our clients. So we were able to take care of her, and she moved into there's Loan Depot that I work for. I'm Mike Hobbs. I'm a loan officer, NMLS 1804310. And you can find me in multiple places online: Facebook, YouTube. It's mortgagemadness.com is YouTube. You're watching that possibly, or on Facebook at Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. You can find me on my regular page, Mike Hobbs, on Facebook as well. LinkedIn, you can find me there. Twitter, you can find me there. I think it's at Mike, Mortgage Mike, I believe it is. Anyway, you can find me in a bunch of places. You'll see me. And you can always call me if you have any questions about anything related to mortgage. So that's it with the 3 stories that we wanted to talk about, qualifying, getting people done, and why it's getting people in homes, and why um, it's hard to pick a lender. And I think you need to pick a lender that has experience and is really built in wanting to dig a little deeper. And that's really where I come from. Being a marketing background and degrees in marketing, I really do love the research as well as the I would say the relational transactions that I do with people. It's really important to me, and lifelong friends with a lot of people that I've done loans for, and also with my referral partners. Let's talk about the BBB. So you've heard me say it before. If you listen to the show, talked about the buyer benefits bundle and what that does. It does 3 things, and 2 of those are what most lenders do. We do a third thing. It's loan curtailment and how that impacts you and how that can save you money. A lot of agents are talking about that, where sellers are contributing money, but how do you actually use it and how do you make it work? And a lot of lenders are on the impression there's a limit on how much you can get from a seller. There aren't. There are on a couple of loans, but on our conforming loan products, there's not. It's a 4% limit on the conventional. It's a 6% limit on FHA. And then people think it's a 3 and or a 6, depending on your down payment on a conventional loan. And that's not true. It can be anything, 10%, whatever you want. It can be. We can take that money and we can use it for paying closing costs, buying the interest rate down. And we can also use it under the buyer benefits bundle, which is a product that I created. It's the first and only that makes buying affordable and selling efficient and profitable. It's the only product that does it out there in the country. So I'm the first and only loan officer that provides that buyer benefits bundle. And that loan curtailment is something that most lenders, if not all, won't do. And we will. And it's a tiny little obscure guideline. Obscure. Can you see my fingers? They're really, really close together. And it's really tiny and obscure, but we found it and I use it. And that is a benefit to you as a buyer, and it makes buying affordable. So again, you're going to rent your rate anyway. You're going to marry your home. Let's use the buyer benefits bundle and all that implies. Get your agent to work with me to set that up so you can write that offer predicated upon using it and make buying affordable. So you can get into that home now, and then we'll refinance you later under the lifetime guarantee program, cut costs and get you in and save you a lot of money. So it does that. Also, lastly, don't do 2-1 buy downs. 2-1 buy downs is kind of like a fad right now. I'm just going to say professionally, my advice is don't use a 2-1 buy down. 2-1 buy downs are kind of cliche. They're kind of a click term and kind of overused. And I think we start pushing those things out there because, hey, 2-1 buy down, and agents ask about it. And I think one size fits all. Everybody tries to use it, but really a permanent buy down is more effective in saving you money in the short term and the long term. I've done the math on it, and it's math, it's empirical, and I can always show you those forms. Maybe in another show, I'll pull it up. I don't want to bore people with charts and graphs and crap, but that's what it is. So make sure you have somebody that can explain this to you and show you the charts, the actuaries on the finances, so that you know that the permanent buy down is better than dropping price. It's better than the 2-1 buy down, and it's better than just taking a regular loan and not doing something to affect those interest rates as at the point they are now. So that's the buyer benefits bundle. You can ask me about that. The other one, let's talk about this, which is really cool. I went through a training class today on it. I'm going to talk about it. It's the renovation loans. Did you know a house could be burned down and you could get a loan on it that's like a normal loan? Did you know that? Yeah, it's a question. I'm asking you a question. Did you know that? No, most people don't. Most loan officers don't even know it. And most lenders don't do it like we do. You can buy a house that's burned down to the ground. Basically, the only thing you have to do is use the same foundation to rebuild it. You can buy a house that needs re-improving. Let's say you buy a house and you like it and you love it, but the kitchen's is not right. You're just saying, look, man, I love it, but the kitchen's just like 1970s, man. We would buy this house. It's a perfect layout, the perfect floor plan. It's gonna be great for our kids, but man, it's gonna cost us, $50,000 to do this kitchen and the bathroom, da 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 da. The house is livable. It's habitable. It's got, it's certificate of occupancy. It's great. Everything's wonderful about it. And you could live in it. So that's not the issue. And nothing really needs to be done. It's just a personal preference. You like, shaker cabinets, and you like granite or whatever your preference is in solid tops there on it. And you just want to do it. And a renovation loan will allow you to do that. Personal preference on it. You can do any of those things. So you can take and get extra money financed to do your construction project. You can do that on just about any loan, VA, FHA, conventional, Fannie Mae. You can do that. So if you got a house that's just perfect for you, but doggone, man, and we don't have the money, or you don't want to spend the money, and man, we want to dump 10 grand into doing something, or want to put a new roof on, or you got to put a back deck on the back is shot, the deck on the back on the back is shot, or whatever it is, you can do that through a renovation loan. So ask me about those. Again, you're listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. We're on almost every Wednesday. We're on every week. Sometimes we're coming on Fridays or Thursdays. It just depends on what time I get up in the week. Sometimes I sleep in for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I wake up Friday. But if I'm not sleeping in that long, then we will be on Wednesdays at 3:00. You'll hear us here. You can find me at MikeHobbs1.com, or you can find me at itsmortgagemadness.com, 208-643-2864. 2865 is my number. You can reach me there. So that's really cool. Renovation loans. Let's see. Oh, HELOCs. We have a new HELOC product that came out, and I'm going to end with this. The HELOC product, 250,000, 7-day close, 7 to 10 day close, sometimes 10 days, depending on electronics and stuff like that. But 7 to 10 close, 250,000 max, minimum 50,000. 10-year draw, 20-year repay. It's an electronic HELOC that we just launched, and it's in limited states. So it's not in Idaho. It is in California and Washington and a few other states, not too many, but those are the 3 I lend in. So that's why I only keep track of those. But if you have any questions on needing a fast HELOC, give me a call. There's some minimum thresholds, so it's not like for everybody, but it's really cool. And it's fast. So that's really the benefit that it provides. You need your money really fast, 7 days from start to end, 7 days, 7 to 10, and you have your money. So no hassles. It's all electronic. So there's no paper pushing, that kind of a thing. So that's the HELOC through Loan Depot. That's really cool. You can do that. Last thing is let's talk about, I was going to do birthdays today. I even posted that. I think I was going to do some birthday wishes, but I didn't get it together. It was kind of one of those crazy days. I had a seminar and another Zoom meeting I did this morning. So we're going to start doing birthdays and shout outs to people for birthdays. So I want to do that and get my shout outs down, because I've got a lot of good clients and friends and family that listen. So I want to say hello. I appreciate everybody that tunes in and listens. Hey, and if you haven't gone to my itsmortgagematch.com and like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications on when the show is going to launch, I would really appreciate it. So if you could do that for me, it's awesome. And you can also post questions here on the screen that I'm looking at. I don't think I have the right screen up for those today, but I will have that up too in the future, and you can look at that. If you're on Spotify, I know you can't see the stuff we're doing, but you can hear us, and I appreciate you tuning in to Spotify or any of the major podcast sites you can go to, iHeartRadio or any of those, and listen to us there. Lastly, we're going to end the show here in a second. I've got a new segment coming up. It's called What's Up With That? What's up with that? Big question mark on that. What's up with that? It's the stuff that puzzles me. In life, we always got stuff we look at and go, what the heck? Well, I'm going to what the heck here. So, I'm from California, born and raised in California. I live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho now. My whole family's from here in Coeur d'Alene, my wife's family, and they've been here all their lives. Caroline was raised here in Coeur d'Alene, my wife. And so I'm from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And what's funny is coming here, driving and what have you, there's a few little, the lights are a little different. We got a yellow left arrow. We didn't have those in California. But the one thing I find that's really annoying, if you're out there in Idaho and you're checking it out, people don't know how to get on freeways here. I'm just telling you, they don't. So what's up with that? I mean, you're supposed to merge. So you're supposed to accelerate. I'm making a hand motion like coming down a ramp on the freeway. You're supposed to accelerate coming onto the freeway. You're not supposed to slow down. I have so many people as I'm coming along in the slow lane. I've got somebody to the left of me. They're ahead of me. And they look, I presume, they look in their left mirror. They look over their left shoulder and they see me behind them at a 45. And they brake. And they're coming on into the lane, but they start braking because they think I'm going to run up on them. I'm just holding my speed, man. Merge. In racing, I used to race go-karts and have a go-kart team. So in racing, it's number one foundational thing. He who's going into the curve and it's got the edge has the lead. You give the respect to the person that's ahead of you. So if you're ahead of anybody and you're merging onto the freeway, pick up speed. Don't slow down. What's up with that? I don't get it. You've got to pick up speed. You brake, and then all of a sudden, everybody's jamming up and braking and honking horns, and then they go. It's like, what are you doing? You're going to pull over and stop on the right-hand side of an on-ramp because you're going to wait for people to go by in the slow lane at like 20 miles an hour so you can merge on like you would a regular road? No. Accelerate and merge. Don't slow down. If you're coming on and somebody's ahead of you, Then you don't speed up. You merge. You gently pull in behind them at the right speed, time it, and go in. That's what you do. So what's up with that? The driving and the merging on the freeways, it's dangerous. And I'm like 80% my over under on this. When I get on, I see somebody, and even people that I'm falling on the on ramp, I fall and I stay back a little bit because I'll go, hey, they are going to break. They're going to break. They're coming on and off on ramp and they're going to break. So anyway, what's up with that is my what's up with that for the week. I don't understand it. I hope you, if you're listening, you're in Idaho, just hit the gas. Hit the gas. You're merging. You're accelerating onto a freeway. Accelerate. The people behind you will slow gently to let you in. But if they're behind you, do not slow down. Do not brake. If they're off to your left and you haven't quite gotten onto that freeway road yet, and you're still on the on-ramp, don't brake. Don't slow down. Accelerate. Get ahead of them. Go. They're slowing a little bit to let you in. You won't hit them. So that's it. All I have. Next week's show, it's going to be Jerry Spray. He's with Farm Bureau. He's a insurance agent. He's awesome. 90% of my clients go with Jerry here in the local area. He doesn't insure in other states other than Idaho. But he is amazing. I used to have an insurance agency in my office, my big mortgage company back in California for a long time, Allstate, and those guys were awesome. And so it was really a great relationship to have them right there, because I could walk my clients over to the next in down the hallway, and they could meet and get their homeowners insurance figured out. Jerry Spray with Farm Bureau is that top-notch agent. So we're going to have him on talking about some anecdotal things and why it's important to have the right agent and the right company working for you. Jerry does my insurance and he's amazing. So we're going to have him on there. Did I say amazing too many times for Jerry? Jerry is amazing. Jerry, if you're listening or watching, you are amazing, brother. Okay, this is Mike Hobbs. You've been listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. I'm going to sign off, cue the music, and we are going to be back next week at 3 o'clock, and it's going to be our pre-TD show, Thanksgiving Day TG show. I guess it would be our pre-TG show. So we're going to cue that music. We're going to sign off. I'm going to say thank you very much for listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.